Can I borrow some of that? Yeah. If I just cut it off and stick it on my sort of comb over, we'll be all right.
Hey, Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and I'm joined now with Eddie Hearn. Ed, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Why do they say that?
I don't know. What do you say?
It's been a while.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, thank you. I'm feeling a little jet lag.
Are you living in the UK?
Yeah.
In Manchester? That is amazing. That's a big.
What do you mean? I've been living there for a year and a half.
Is it that long? I don't think we've done an interview for. But how are you finding that? It's a big change from LA, right?
Yeah, it's a massive change.
Nice.
You know what? I like it because it's got a little bit of everything. It's not too crazy like London, but it's got like nice restaurants, bars when you want them.
Suburbs and things like that around there. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm right in the city, so it's perfect for me. I can walk in here. I'm like 5 minutes from Piccadilly.
Have you got a boyfriend from Manchester?
No, I do not.
Oh, right, okay.
Since we last spoke in Vegas, it's still on the single side.
Yeah, is it? You're still single? Okay.
Yeah.
But now you're going to be meeting a lot of Manchester men, you know? Do you like Manchester men?
Just men.
How do Manchester men compare to LA men?
I've never dated a man from Manchester, though.
Okay.
I've dated UK men.
Where from?
London.
London. London. Oh, okay. All right. Let's talk boxing before we get in trouble.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're here obviously in New York City. We just wrapped up the press conference for Triple G Derevyanchenko. Pretty intense fight for both.
Yeah, because there's a lot on the line for Triple G. I like these fights because everyone goes, oh yeah, Triple G will win that fight. But everyone knows that Derevyanchenko is a legit contender. And just as it starts to get a little bit closer, people start going, do you know what? Like, he seems confident, Derevyanchenko. Oh, Gennady, he looks like he's getting a bit old. You know, and then you start questioning yourself, what if? It's a bit like Joshua Ruiz. I mean, there's the same kind of odds as Joshua Ruiz, you know? And every now and again, someone has an off night, someone performs out of their skin. But, you know, can Gennady Golovkin lose this fight? 100%. You know, Derevyanchenko has the ability to beat him on a bad night for Gennady Golovkin. Derevyanchenko's going to have to be excellent, and Gennady's going to have to be a little bit off. But he's at the stage of his career with a new trainer. Maybe he will be a little bit off. Yeah. Who knows? I'm a little bit nervous because I'm so excited about 2020 for Gennady that you just got to get this one over the line.
Right, exactly, because obviously winning the IBF title back for him will secure him, I would say, fights against Demetrius Andrade as well as Canelo, although Canelo seems to be singing a different tune. Now, I don't know much about the deal in terms of what he agreed when signing with DAZN, but I was under the impression that he was guaranteed a third fight against Canelo. Do you know whether or not that's true or not?
No, what I can tell you is that Gennady Golovkin entered that deal, you know, with the belief that he will be fighting Canelo. Obviously, that hasn't materialised yet. That's not at the fault of DAZN, because they want that fight more than anything. Yeah, DAZN's a subscription business. Every fight that's going to drive subscribers to, and that's one of the biggest ones out there. So I just think maybe it's one where sort of Golden Boy and DAZN said to Canelo, right, you're fighting Triple G next, and Canelo went, I was going to do a Spanish voice, but you know, no, that's more French, you know, where it's like, no, I'll fight who I'm going to fight next. No, you know, we're going to do the Golovkin fight. No, maybe I'll fight Kovalev. So it's one of those situations, unfortunately, where Canelo has earned the right to be the A-side over his period of time, not necessarily over those two fights, I don't believe. So he's going to call the shots. Canelo's going to fight who he wants to fight. And right now he wants to fight Kovalev. But who's he going to want to fight next May? Is he going to want to fight Demetrius? Is he going to want to fight Callum Smith? Is he going to want to fight Billy Joe Saunders? Is he going to want to fight Golovkin? And there's no better way to put your name in the hat than produce a performance where the fans say, wow, I want, you know. So if they go out tomorrow night or Saturday night, have a ding dong, and Gennady Golovkin cleans him out with a showreel knockout, the fans will say, we must see Canelo. And that's the way the fight gets made. Right. But you can't criticise Canelo too much because he's had a good year. You know, he's boxed Danny Jacobs in the unification, and he's boxed Kovalev up at 175 for a world title. So it's not like he's fighting tomato cans. So, but ultimately, if you said to any fight fan, who do you want to see Canelo fight? They'd say Triple G 3.
You can't even mention one name without the other being, coming up.
Gennady gets so, excuse my language, pissed off by people keep talking about Canelo. He's like, guys, like, I signed to fight him. Like, I can't, it's not up to me. So yes, and he will fight anyone, Gennady. That's why I love him. I've been a fan for ages. Like I said there in the press, I would stay up. Like if it was in the UK, and we've had 10 shows on the bounce, and then Saturday comes around and Gennady Golovkin's on at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm waking up to watch him.
Yeah. Let's talk a bit about the super middleweight division. Now we know that Billy Joe still doesn't have an opponent.
He does have an opponent, but I've just emailed the WBO to confirm, and I don't want to jinx it. So we was going to fight Dennis Duglin.
I heard Gabe Rosado.
Yeah, we looked at Gabe Rosado, but unfortunately he was coming off a loss, and the WBO wouldn't. I wanted an American. He's not fighting an American actually, but not far away. But I looked at Rosado. I like Duglin coming off a couple of wins and got a nice bit of trap about him. I saw him with Durrell last week. The WBO wouldn't rank him, so we couldn't do that fight. So now we have an opponent, and we just email the WBO and we'll announce tomorrow.
Okay. I want to get on to the heavyweight topic. Now we know Joseph Parker is out. Chisora is sort of left in a limbo at the moment. Who could you realistically find to face him that would be a top 10 fighter?
Well, I think when you look at the list, you've got like Povetkin, Rivas, Hunter, Hrgovic, Warlin, Shannon Briggs. I just threw that one in on my social media. I don't know, like Bacoli, David Price. Like there's literally like 10 guys. It has to be kind of like for like. Like we've sold a lot of tickets. It's a pay-per-view, and Chisora's up for that. Chisora's like, it's almost like Del. Are you all right with this guy? Yeah, fucking whoever. So it's been a bit like naming the hat time today, where managers and because Chisora, I think Chisora's perceived to be not an easy touch, but sort of at the end of his career, he's had a lot of losses. Where when you get in there with him at the O2, like he's a handful. So I think a lot of the heavyweights are saying, I'll go, but it is 4 weeks. So it's like a little bit short on time, but a lot of people are up for the fight, and I think we'll get an opponent this week.
Now, the Olympics are now allowing professional fighters to participate, which is a bit strange. Right. We know that the WBC also said anybody who plans to... 2-year ban. So I was just going to ask you what your thoughts were about them making that decision.
I think it's a different sport. I think it's unfair for the amateurs. I mean, recently when you look at the case...
Completely unfair.
When you look at the case with the WBC was so animated about, which was Jolovov, who is the Uzbekistan heavyweight who won the World Championships. He knocked out the number 1 ranked heavyweight from America, right? That number 1 ranked heavyweight, can't even remember his name now, was a guy that was going to walk into a very lucrative professional contract. I mean, I would have offered him a lot of money. That knockout was so bad that it could even affect his career. Certainly if you're looking to make an investment in a fighter, having seen that knockout, it's going to make you think twice. So what they've done is they've not only robbed him of an opportunity to try and win a World Championship gold, they've also decreased his commercial value by getting him beat by a guy who's 8-0, 9-0. He's been boxing in New York, he's been boxing big heavyweights, so I think it's unfair. And I don't see that, why? Why should a pro go in an amateur event? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's why it's called pro and amateur. So I don't think it's right, and hopefully with the IAEBA overturn, this is something that will be addressed.
And lastly, let's talk a bit about the Saudi Arabia situation. Now we know that there was an attack that occurred from Iran. Am I correct?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, it's not. Okay. I don't want to misquote. Okay, but we know that something had occurred. I read somewhere, and I can't remember for the life of me where I read it, that you said something along the lines of if stuff continues to increase, that you guys would consider moving the venue.
Didn't really say that. What I said was, if you got to a situation where it was unsafe for people to travel and the government were telling people that you couldn't travel there and stuff like that, it would have to be something you'd consider. But no government is saying you can't travel to Saudi Arabia. We were there last week on a site visit. It's it's exactly the same as it's ever been. I think where that took place was an oil rig 3,000 miles away from where the fight's being held. Obviously we're going to monitor things, but there's no concern at the moment, to be honest with you. Tickets are about to go on sale. There'll be an announcement this week on tickets, and all systems go.
Deontay Wilder finally announced his fight against Luis Ortiz. I wasn't quite sure if that was going to happen. What do you make of that fight?
I think it's an okay fight. I don't feel that. Is it a pay-per-view fight? Is it an $85 fight? Maybe. I think everything else seems to be nowadays the bigger fights over here, because the other networks now are spending a lot of money. I think he stops him quite comfortably this time. You know, it's been a couple of years since that first fight, and Luis Ortiz has got older, or even older. And I just think that Wilder Fury is still a great fight. It's just lost a little bit of momentum. I feel like they maybe should have had one fight and then done it. And obviously now Fury's looked not so good in his last fight, and who knows how Wilder will look in that fight. And it might end up like it was massive. Like the first fight, if you'd have done a rematch next, wow. I mean, it's very difficult. Gennady came out with a good saying earlier. He said, he was talking about like playing boxing, and I can't even remember it now, so I won't even go to it. But it was like you can't play box, you can't disrespect boxing in a way that, you know, we'll do this and we'll do that, and then try and be clever, and then you get caught out. So, especially in the heavyweights, you know, I mean, we saw in this building, you know, AJ lose to Ruiz, which was such a huge shock. Really, Fury should have been stopped with that cut, and then he would have lost to Wilding, you know, and Ortiz might knock out Wilder, you know, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there going, oh my God, what has happened?
It would have been like the year of the upsets.
Yeah, but that can happen, especially in that division.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I know people are waiting for you. I don't want to be too rude. I'm sorry, guys. Great seeing you. See, getting the hang of it.
See you in Manchester.
I will.
Well, we've got a show on November the 2nd in Manchester. Katie Taylor and Crawler and Buatsi. You'll be Super Series.
I'm actually here. I'm in the States.
Okay.
I'm in Vegas.
Well.
Yeah, and I won't be there for the Super Series fight because I'm going to be in Cancun.
Okay.
I'll be there next week.
Oh, good. Good. Glad you managed to fit us in on your busy schedule. Yeah, thank you.
Shut up. All right, thank you. Bye, fight fans. Hey, fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else.